Your accent
Girl,
is really heavy though. I love this. I love it.
thank you, girl. And guess what?
It's adorable. Huh?
Guess what?
Just the southern accent. It's cute. It's just, it's you.
Thank
It shows a
you.
lot of personality, behind the voice. So you get a lot of Ashley behind the voice in this beautiful podcast that we got going on.
Exactly. And we are live too, girl.
I know I seen that. That's why I wanted to shout your podcast out.
Hey, that was so clever. Shout
Thank you
out to
so much. Thank you. I thought about it. I was like, oh, this is the perfect time. I see us live. I'm gonna shout her podcast out real quick. Thank you.
you. Welcome to another episode of Bonafide, her podcast featuring MJ Johnson. Beep, 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 beep,
We coming.
beep, beep,
Thank
beep.
you, Ashley, for having me. It's an honor. I'm very grateful to be a part of this process and this journey. I think it's beautiful what you're doing. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, girl. Thank you.
You're
Shout
very
out to you, though.
welcome. Oh,
Girl.
me.
Yes, shout out to you, girl. Shout out
Wow.
to you.
Thank you.
You know, we blessed. You know what? Guess what? It is Women's International Month, so happy Women's International Month
You
too.
know what? Happy Women's International Month. You are amazing. You are blessed. You are beautiful. You are glowing. You have such a beautiful life path.
Aw, thank you.
You're
I
very
got.
welcome.
I'm gonna have to probably cry later on after.
No, don't cry. Don't cry, because if you
Like,
cry, I'm gonna cry.
it's like I'm gonna have to cry after the episode. With, like
Don't
I
cry. Don't cry, Ashley. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna end up in tears. Ashley got me on this podcast crying, y'all.
oh, girl. So let's get it started. But shout out to you, of course. You know, let's first of all let's get this started. Miss MJ, can you tell us how you got to where you are right now from your sports journey to where you are now?
Um, so to just be blunt and honest, a lot of just perseverance, a positive mindset, being able to experience life as trials and tribulations and learning from each mistake, each success story, each failure story, and just being able to make sure that I'm taking each step holding myself accountable for the previous mistakes and just learning to go with the ride, and just take each shot as they come. And so
Hey,
it's definitely been a journey. It's definitely been a journey, a roller coaster, up and down. That's why, life's a bucket. So
pow pow pow, life's a
boom,
bucket.
boom, boom.
Hey. Speaking of which, how like so your that's the model and also the brand. What inspired you to name it Life's a Bucket?
So the reason I kind of went with this rebranding of Life's a Bucket is kind of like what I was previously saying before we went live. Like just understanding and just entering each new day, taking the acceptance of, hey, like yesterday wasn't the best day, but today could be better. It's simulating kind of like a basketball game. Like I missed my last shot, but maybe if I take the next shot, that one will go in. So even though I had a bad day yesterday, today might be a little better, and just trying to persevere through each challenge and trial that we receive each day. And so life's a bucket. You never know how many points you're going to score. You never know if you're going to be able to get into the game, with entrepreneurship and just chasing your passions and chasing your dreams. You never know what can happen. And so that's why I like to consider life as a bucket. Sometimes I'm scoring 20 points, with no assists. Sometimes I'm scoring less with so many more assists. You just never know how you never know how I never know how you can win in life. And so it's endless possibilities of winning in life.
Girl, you said it in the most perfect explanatory format, especially since
I'm thankful. Thank you, Ashley.
yes,
I'm
because
just happy that
girl,
I'm able to, express myself in a way that people can relate in the athletic realm in life because, you never know what life carries for you.
yes, because I will say this. We always used to hear the term ball is life because man, ball is life, but
It
it's
is.
like
It
it is. And sometimes we forget that we are also human as first and foremost we're human. So like and
Absolutely.
I know for you, like you're really huge in this, the topic of mental health. how is mental health important to you, and how does it kind of apply to basketball?
So kind of, talking, piggybacking off of what I was just kind of referring to in terms of life and not it being so up and down and you never know. Like you could get a bad call, a bad text, and your emotions just kind of rise. You could be at the work setting, you could be getting ready for a game. And like these things, these emotions that you're kind of navigating through can be very detrimental or it could be like a catapult to your success. And so, me navigating with bettering and trying to reassure myself with, hey, even though you had a bad day yesterday, it's okay. Like take a deep breath and you get another chance tomorrow. Or, that you had a bad game yesterday. You can try again next game. You had a bad argument with your brother or your sister or your family members, like, hey, maybe just take a breather and then you guys come back and, talk about it in a more comforting way so that those emotions that you once carried aren't so heavy in the conversation that you're trying to, get through and manage through. Because one thing I've noticed when I'm walking around just in life and just I'm going through these obstacles and these trials and tribulations, like sometimes you could get triggered, and like sometimes you'll run into someone like I might not go right away at the light and I'm getting honked at, like, dang, you must be having a bad day, or like so it's sometimes it's just in moments like that it's where you take a deep breath and you look in the mirror and you're like, okay, I can handle this a different way than how I used to handle it, and just bettering your mental capacity with how bettering the way you handle your emotions. And so I think balancing out your mental being and your well-being while walking the journey of life is very important because one bad day can, be a your bad day could be a great day to somebody else, but just because you're having a great day doesn't mean that you might run into someone who's having a terrible day. And all you needed to do was smile and say, hey, you look great today, and that could change their whole perspective on life. And so just being able to navigate through your own personal emotions and being able to understand and relate to, like you said, others who are experiencing these same human emotions. I'm sorry that was so long, but
Girl, the floor is yours, girl. Like I always want to make sure to provide that safe space for people to like. I'd be like, look,
my thing is
if it's a topic that you are passionate about, go
for
for
sure,
it.
for
So
sure.
I'm like here for it. Um, so my question is, um, so I noticed like you have a huge platform with social media. How did social media like in a way change your life, especially you being known as the barefoot hooper?
Um, it changed my life. It didn't change my life like completely, but to comment on like the social media realm of it, it's really like surprising because I'll get on social media and some people really believe that I kind of will go to the court and like really play a full game without my shoes. So it's kind of like comical. It's like no, it's just kind of a joke thing, like kick my shoe off and try to shoot these trick shots or just you know get grounded and really feel the energetic field of the world. Some people don't get to have shoes, but they have the passion for basketball. So sometimes I like to use my platform in a way of like, hey, you don't need a shoe to go, shoot a basketball, things like that. So the social media realm is super funny because, like I said, I'll run into comments of, oh, your shoes are off or your shoes are on. It's like, yeah, because I kind of hope with shoes on. Everybody kind of does. So it's kind of like, it's cool. But I wouldn't say it like changed my life like drastically.
How about in a better term, like, did it kind of like brought more awareness, like in a way, like, you saw like a lot of people are like, man, she really good. Like, man, I didn't realize how this she's a real deal. Like, even though there was folks that actually knew you can play
Right.
and stuff, but like it was like just just the barefoot hooper. I remember
For
you had
sure, yeah. It's for sure. I've met a lot of, great people outside and like at the my local park that I usually go hoop at. And sometimes I'll be outside with my shoes off and people are like, what are you like, why you got your shoes off? And I'm like, oh, I actually really could hoop. Like I could go grab my shoes, like for real. And then once I really, if they say yes or no, like once I really start connecting with them and building that kind of friendship, on the court and really hooping with them, it is funny because they're like, "Oh, you really hoop?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've like gone professionally overseas. Like I hoop. I just kind of like to, do it for the camera and just be funny and just, spread inspiration and stuff of that sort."
Yes, because I remember also like one of the videos you had a whole series was the dribble on the beat. So how did that come up?
So this was what, maybe what, 3 years ago. TikTok came out. It was COVID year. Everyone's kind of in the house, and so I seen everybody just like dancing to the TikTok beats and things, and so I was just thinking like, oh, I'm gonna go like just dribble my basketball to it. I didn't think to put my shoes on. I don't know why. I just was like, okay, like, I'm just going, And so when I like woke up the next morning, it was like reached 1 million views and like people were kind of messing with it. And I was like, oh, okay, like I could like really turn this into like an inspirational type of ordeal, and just really inspire people to, hey, even though I don't have my shoes on, like I play basketball. And so, you know, it's kind of cool.
Yes, because like I remember those series, and then girl, we got the same taste when it comes to our favorite goats. Like we don't there's
MJ's the GOAT.
like we there is one person we don't believe that's the goats
Right.
that shall not be named at
I
this
was about
moment.
to say, girl, you already know we don't need to name the name. We don't gotta,
Yeah, because I be like, it's so funny because it's
it's
like
all,
folks be so mad in person, like
oh my God,
it's
girl,
like
what? They really, they really come for me sometimes. It was like it was a decent amount of time on social media that people were really coming for me because I didn't believe, in my personal opinion, which I could have, that he's the GOAT. And so people, people get cutthroat with who the GOAT is. Seriously.
for real, like because I know your goat is MJ, my goat is like say Kobe,
Kobe,
but
I know, girl, I
I'm
know.
not. But here's the thing: my goal of people for like women's, along with you, of course,
Oh,
is
thank you.
Maya Moore. So, so, but folks, I'm telling you, MJ is a real hooper, y'all. Like she get buckets. I'm telling y'all, don't play, don't play.
Telling them I'm supposed to like they're supposed to not know. I'm just kidding.
But
Thank you, girl. Thank you.
my question is, how was the transition from when you were playing in college? What was the transition like from there to like, playing overseas? Like,
Um, I would say the biggest change and like huge moment for me would probably be just understanding that I really can't talk to family, like I really can't talk to my friends that I used to go to school with and things like that sort because now that I'm overseas and I'm going through, emotions or like I'm so far away from home and what it's just that time zone. And so, just dealing with that and being able to experience a life um, away from family and being able to kind of ground myself without having to lean on family and friends, to understand that this process that I'm kind of going through is like kind of my dream and are my goals and my aspirations. And so I would say that was the biggest chunk that I had to take out of way is just like understanding like, wow, I'm really like in another country chasing my dreams and I'm kind of by myself. And so it was a huge turning point for myself. I'm very family oriented and family driven. And so that would probably be the hardest transition going into college, D1 into professional basketball.
and I just realized, and you just got done with your overseas not too long ago. You just completed overseas season.
Correct.
What was that like?
So I just recently was able to get an opportunity to play in the African women's FIBA tournament. And so Africa was just beautiful. It's kind of crazy because going like months ago prior to me getting the opportunity to go, I deeply, deeply wanted to just visit Africa and just like really get to experience, a different culture and just outside of America. And I visited Cyprus. That was kind of close to Turkey, and so I was around some people who spoke Greek, and so it was like Cypriot. So that was kind of like their slang. So I've experienced the Greek culture, and I experienced it also in Greece when I went there. So I kind of wanted to get out of the Greek culture, if that makes sense. So experiencing Africa was just like, oh my God, this is just unbelievable. Everyone was just beautiful. And knowing that a basketball took me there, oh my gosh, it was crazy. And it was just unbelievable because, like I said, my mind and my heart really desired it at one point. And so being able to see it live and just be like, wow, this is Spalding got me here. This is crazy. The food was also, oh, oh my gosh. I love spicy food. And so,
Yes.
girl, in
Spicy
Nigeria,
food.
oh my gosh, the spice was just there. It was a learning curve to kind of get used to the food, and things of that sort. But the spice and the sea, oh my God, like it was beautiful. It was just an opportunity. It was just an experience that I will never, ever forget.
Girl, people be hating on spicy food. I'm like,
I know. It's like,
I'm like, I, I
no,
mean, it's. I mean,
I like spicy. Spicy hot is good.
y'all talk a lot of spicy, so you better understand there's spice to it. Like,
That's so funny. Spiciness is coming with it. Okay.
I'm just saying.
That's so funny.
But
But Africa was just amazing. Team was lovely. It was amazing. It was so much so that like I was able to look back on this experience and just see that I've built a family. And so even, I still follow some of the girls that I was able to play with in Cyprus and Greece and things of that sort. So met a lot of great players on the other teams in Africa. So it's just a big like basketball family, which is super just nice to be a part of.
I know this, right? Hey, you gotta love when you be part of a team that feels like family. I feel like that's the most overlooked key when it comes to basketball. When it comes to
100%.
friends, you want to feel like you feel belong. You have that family oriented, like
That
Kim.
sisterhood, that bonds, like, because you're not around your family, so you look to lean on those sisters and your coach, and like you look at it as like a big family. So you're absolutely right.
Girl, I'm trying to like when you. It's like folks gotta understand when you rocking with some real ones and you rock with big like you rock with real ones and you realize, girl, I'm telling you, we in the hair business right now. We're trying to look cute and stuff, but it's all good. But I always make sure. Look, folks.
Amazing.
All I know is folks gotta let the folks know this is a raw, real podcast. You gonna see
Hey,
this,
listen,
you
the
gonna see,
realness, the authenticity, that's all we here for. Okay,
and that's on
all we
period.
here for. And you're beautiful. Period.
Girl,
I
you
know
beautiful.
that's right.
You
Huh?
beautiful. Girl, you beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, As. Thank you. Again, shout out to I'm live. So shout out to Lolo for doing my hair. I have it
Hey,
but I'm covering it a little bit. Y'all not ready for the braids.
slay. Slay all day.
Yes.
So my question is, so between playing professionally and then you being part of the Basketball Beauties League, what's the competition like, similar and different between the two leagues?
Basketball beauties, and I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Overseas, like you playing professionally?
So my first year in Cyprus, I wouldn't say there was too big of a difference. I would say basketball beauties is obviously a little more developed and more in terms of age wise. When I was my first year in Cyprus, it's funny because I was talking to Lauren about it yesterday. The the transition to college and like D1 and then going to Cyprus, it was just kind of like a lower level tier. And so, I was playing with professional girls and professional women who were still in high school, but in Cyprus, they were considered a professional athlete. And so I would say it depends on what kind of, country you're in, what competition you're in. Because when I went to Athens, it was a little different, excuse me, a little different in terms of competition level. It was a lot more. I think there was maybe three WNBA players in that Athens Greece league. I think it was the second out of the second league, one of the top three or so. And so the competition was very. pretty immaculate. It was, tough girls. Competition was amazing. Everybody on the team could like play. And so I would say comparing basketball beauties to my first year overseas, it was kind of similar, in terms of wanting to play, if that makes sense. In terms of age group, I would say Basketball Beauties was a little more developed compared to Cyprus. My second year was a little more competitive and forceful. Like, we got to get in the gym, like, seriously, and we got to beat this team. So when you're in LA and you're playing Basketball Beauties and thing, it's really nice and things, but there's a lot of cameras around and, it's like funny, laughing, and things. So when you turn it to professionalism overseas and things and everything's a little more structured, you just gotta be a little more responsible in terms of your discipline. And so that would be the biggest transition, I would say.
Yeah, because like, would you say the experience of basketball beauties like kind of like also helped develop not only as a player but like also like as a person, both on and off like social media too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because basketball, like I was saying earlier, it's just such a big realm, right? So when you combine you going overseas and then being able to come back home and play in the Basketball Beauties League, it's just such, you realize that, wow, I'm really surrounded by women and just men, like brothers and sisters who really just love basketball. And even if they're not going overseas, they're here and it's still a big loving family, supportive, and so showing up to the Venice Ball games and the Basketball Beauty League games, it's one big family. So I would say it definitely was a major factor in terms of being able to go to another country and do it again. Because Los Angeles, I don't know if you guys don't know, if you guys are in the live, Los Angeles is not where I'm originally from. So I'm from the Bay Area.
Hey,
Right, so like being able to transition from the Bay Area to Los Angeles and make friends and family and brothers and sisters over here, it definitely opened my eyes a little more and made me understand, like, wow, I can go overseas again and do the family thing again and just be able to stay connected with all these beautiful people around the world, and just give that inspiration to the younger generation of girls who want to go overseas or want to chase WNBA. I have a great friend, Caitlin Brown, who wants to get to the WNBA, wants to go overseas and things. And so I've been talking to her, and just trying to motivate her and inspire her that the sky's the limit. Like, as long as you know that you want it, you can attain it. Like, anything is possible as long as you are disciplined and motivated to do that. And so basketball beauty has definitely helped me go to Africa again and be able to rebuild that overseas life experience, because it had been 2 years since I had went overseas. So it definitely helped me transition to believe in myself again to go.
for sure. Because I'm telling you, like, I'm gonna say this. Like, I remember you had you were on the green team that y'all had, and y'all had a killer squad. I was like, yo, I was like, let me get the green. I'm so like, I gotta get the green hoodie so I can represent MJ, my sister MJ, and JP.
You're just the best. You're just the best.
I be doing I try my best, because here's the thing: what folks need to understand, we women, we need to do more empowering instead of bringing each other down. It's so many, like, and I think this is the most important thing. I feel like as women in
You
sports,
you are
and
not.
I feel like as women in sports, we need not only the male support to like actually view it, but also women in general. Like, how can
100%.
my question is, how do you feel like how can we can get more support from women to actually enjoy and watch women's sports, especially with how it is right now with college women's basketball?
Yeah. I, are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I think I think that's a very controversial topic that has been kind of lingering even since I was, in college, and even when I was in high school, like dealing with the same thing. Like, I feel like this is something that's always been the talk and the topic in terms of regarding women's basketball and how unsupportive it is. And now, as time is evolving, we're starting to realize that the women don't even barely support it, you know? And so I think it's just all about being able to build a family, get together with those who have the same mindset and try to change the world and try to change the minds of those in the realm, you know, and just try to do it in a positive way and just show like, hey, even though it's not, you know, it's not hitting a lot of numbers or whatever, but here I'm trying to push women sports, you know, and I'm trying to show that these are not only great athletes and great women, great athletes on in their sport or in their field of, you know, whatever that is they do, they're great women at the end of the day. And so I think it's just very important and I think it's time to turn that chapter and really acknowledge that.
Yes, because like with this year for this women's basketball college this season has been crazy. Like, you have two freshmen. We have a bunch of freshman class so far for college. You have Juju from USC, Hannah from
Turning up.
Notre Dame, Lay with the butter from South Carolina.
All these young
Like they're
folks.
just dominating, and then all of a sudden, like you're trying to figure out like these people, these are like, yes, they're amazing, like, but you have, of course, you have people that were playing that, we've been trying to tell y'all to tune in and watch women's, like, we not bad, we actually great, we
We
got
actually can
talent.
play, yes.
So my question is, how do you deal with folks, how would you respond to folks that feel like that it's okay to say, just shut up and dribble, like just shut up and dribble. Basically, don't they just? How do you respond to folks that feel like it's okay to demean athletes? It's
It's
just athletes, but not human.
it's very demeaning because, you know, it takes away so in this, you know, because basketball is a form of entertainment, right? And so, you know, people will turn on the TV, turn on NBA, turn on the NCAA tournament, the Final Four, or the women's, you know, Tennessee versus UCLA. Like, we'll turn these games on and expect these athletes to perform to what how we want them to perform, you know, and like it kind of falls into life's a bucket because she's not always going to score X amount of points that you expect her to score. And so just shut up and dribble is just kind of like very demeaning and it basically takes away the morals of just being a human and having emotions. And so it kind of falls into what I was talking about earlier, what we were talking about earlier in terms of being able to navigate through your reality of your passion and then having the people that, you know, that watch it and spectate judge you and just tell you to kind of shut up and dribble. I think it's just demeaning and it kind of lacks the love that humans are supposed to kind of carry.
Yeah, because I remember like hearing that one time, and it's like, and it was the crazy thing is it was during the time and during COVID, and like 2020 was so chaotic with everything happening. So it's like, man, you just feel the fire. Like if you don't like if you can't respect the athlete as they were as humans, then
Right.
you don't need to be a fan. Like that's
Right.
what people don't understand. Like you can't be a fan of that athlete if you don't support them as
As a
humans.
right. It's like how are you going to support me if I'm not wearing the jersey? Are you going to show up for me or are you only going to show up to my games? You know, because you have a nice jersey with my name on it, you know, and so and but you're telling me to just shut up and dribble. It's like it just takes away the ability to have emotions because of the entertainment aspect of this is what I do. And it is kind of for, you know, it is for us, our entertainment to just turn on and be like, oh my gosh, like look at Michael Jordan, look at LeBron. He, you know, scored, you know, he broke that record and so whatever. But, you know, so you just kind of turn, you know, you tune in and you start handling your emotions by judging those that you're watching and stuff. But at the end of the day, words hurt, you know? And so it's important to understand that you can't just get on the internet and just talk so, you know, crucially to people and just say, shut up and dribble. Or it just, it takes the love out of the game. It takes the love, you know, from just building the civilization of humanity.
And speaking of which, like, and I know you're an MJ fan. I'm a Kobe, of course. And like, my question
Always.
is, my question is, what's it like to see, like, say, a person like Kobe and Stephen Curry to just actually advocate for women's sports and let folks know this is dope. Like y'all really need to look and pay attention to it.
I love it. I think it's beautiful and I think it's so wholesome when men support women in sports, especially when it's a sport that they do, and they partake in and they have such a huge platform that of fans who support what they do. So I think it's amazing and I just think it's such a beautiful combination to explore and accept that some men are accepting of us women who can play. And sometimes it takes a man to have a daughter who loves basketball just as much as he does. And now he's like, wow, you're gonna be a star. Like take Kobe's relationship with his daughters and stuff. And so it just builds such a deeper bond. And even outside of basketball, you've seen how much love Kobe had for his family. And so it's beautiful to see and witness such a great athlete, a great person, a great human idolize and put women's sports on a pedestal and acknowledge just the grit that the women go through as well, because it's not always sunshine and rainbows. We got the story. We get haters trying to stand in your way. You got teammates who don't want to pass you the ball, or you got coaches who won't really play you. And so
Mhm.
women in sports go through a lot. And so when a man in sports is acknowledging that, I think it's beautiful, and I think it's phenomenal for the world to see.
For sure, because you know it was like I feel like in a way it's starting. You would see more support now, starting since like, and I hate to be the one say this, and was like once Kobe died, everybody all of a sudden want to start supporting, like wear the orange hoodie, and it's like
Like hopping on a trend.
so, and it's just like man, like we've been trying to tell y'all, we've been trying to tell y'all, like, but my question is though, for real, is how do you like has
I'm trying to
how is representation? How much does representation matters when it comes to, seeing women in sports?
I think representation as a woman in sports is very. Let me clarify. Are you referring to the woman in the sport, or are you referring to like people representing her?
Both. Like, how does it say, like, if there was a woman in sport that you looked up to, and you're like, yo, I see her in me. Like, I see me in her.
Mhm.
Like, what was that like?
So I think the influence of being able to have good representation as a woman and athletes as a woman is very major, because like you're saying, you just never know who is going to click on your page and see what type of videos you create or like shots you take or where you've explored and were able to take your talent to. And so I think representation is probably one of the biggest attributes to understanding like what an idol carries. I think it's very important to understand that life does have its ups and downs and nobody's perfect. And so that comes into understanding, even as a fan, that sometimes we'll have bad days where I don't score so many points or I'm emotional, like my husband just left me or something, and now I'm a little more irritated or something. And to hear you say just shut up and dribble, it can be very like just so it's important as representing, I'm so sorry, representing
It's all
yourself,
good.
being able to express yourself in a very wholesome and transparent way. Because when you do put on blinders or hide behind a mask of like your life being so perfect, it's kind of like when things crumble apart, people then start judging even more, because it's like, wow, I thought you were kind of like this or like that. And so representation is 100% the most important attribute to carry as not even just a woman in sports, but just as a person in its totality and its entirety.
Yes, because, like, I just, you know, it just, I know for me, like, you would think, like, there would be someone, like, you be looking up to, and, like, I really want to be like them. But it's like, how can I be like them? But then it's like, never
And be
mind, I don't want to be like them. I'm me. So it's like, I kind
exactly,
of, And it,
Exactly. It's a very fine line between, like, being inspired by somebody and then wanting to be them. And so it's like, how can I be them and like want to be them if I'm my own person? I need to learn how to love myself. And we do share the similar like goals and aspirations. I could use her like layout or of her lifestyle or something to kind of help catapult my career. And so that's why I think representation is a huge, center point to kind of focus on and understand that you never know who's going to be joining your page or watching your page. So I tried to be as transparent as possible. So it's very, representation matters a lot.
yes. And I noticed how much you love kids too, is just to see. I know there was one video you would ask, Kobe or LeBron? Kobe or LeBron? Kobe,
Hmm.
LeBron. What's it
Yeah,
like?
I was in Bermuda
Yeah.
Island, so I was able to go and coach this camp. And so as I was, socializing with the kids and getting to know them, I was like, all right, I'm gonna kind of like just walk around, get a little rally going, seeing who's on team MJ and who's on team Kobe, who's on team LeBron. So it was really cool. It was just being able to relate, being on an island outside of California and just being alone, but still being able to connect with the family and draw in the similarities of, there was some MJ fans, there was a lot of Kobe fans. So I think you won, Ashley. I think you won. But there was maybe like, two or maybe one or two, three LeBron fans. So it was, I'll turn it up and bring the kids into it too, because it's just idolizing, who you look up to and why you look up to them.
Girl, I did not know you were from the Bay. Cause now I'm like, hey,
It makes
all I
sense.
know is whenever I hear from the Bay, I'm thinking like, let me go ahead and put some Too Short, blow the whistle on
You
real
feel
quick.
me? You know, you know the vibes. Yes, I'm not from Los Angeles, so if when I'm walking down Los Angeles, or just Hollywood Boulevard, just walking or just whatever, it's like Coil Ray. No, sorry, I'm not her. Not the famous little. That's my. What are they? What is it? Doppelgangers. She's my
Yes, doppelgangers. Yes.
doppelganger. So I play basketball.
Like, nah. I'm telling y'all, don't call her Coyle Ray. That is not Coyle Ray. This is MJ. This is Maranne
MJ.
MJ Johnson. Let's get that
Yes,
out
MJ
the way.
Johnson.
Let's get that out the way. MJ Icy. Let's get that out
MJ.
the way. Because I'm telling, because it's like, those people's doppelgangers be coming up, and you're like, I really don't know how. Like, and it's always those folks
It's
like,
crazy.
it's like, where do I know you from? Like, I don't know where you know me from.
I don't know you. It's like,
It's like, man.
but you look so familiar. Oh, I seen you on TV. That's why. So
So
funny.
my question is, have you had like folks that try to like
Excuse me.
come at you crazy, like because of who you are, as like because of the status that you are put in?
Absolutely, yes. So, as much as I was kind of joking and making jokes about, people cracking jokes about, oh, like your shoes on, like, not like kind of pretending like they're not surprised that my shoes are off. I'll get like, backlash comments saying like you're dirty and like you need to put your shoes on and like you're gonna catch this and like you're this, you're that. So sometimes I try not to, read the comments, read the negative things. But I'm human. So, sometimes I get caught up in just reading the negative comments. And that's when I learn to just like, okay, I'm putting too much energy into the social media. I need to like kind of take a step back and regain my focus because I'm starting to get mad. So there's a lot that kind of goes into it and just being able to have that transparency and understand that this is social media. So like you don't have to kind of take the hate and like apply it to your life, if that makes sense. Because people are gonna come like and they don't care because it's internet. So
Girl, like I'm
had a really
telling you,
bad email. Like people, it gets bad. It's like, dang, why would you send me such a mean email? But it is what it is.
it's the
Probably
you know,
gonna post it on my story. It was like Ashley. It was really like, geez, this is kind of mean, and it has to do with on my page. It says I have 666 posts, and so like that person's like completely coming for me because I don't know if like they are like super religious or something. Yeah, and then my posts say I'm in God's heart, and so he's I don't know who it is. It's just a random email. It's like you only have 666. Like if you're really in God's heart, like yeah, I'm just like dude, oh, like I'm so sorry. I'm unfollowing you. Like listen. I just stopped responding. It was like, okay, listen, like I'm not even gonna respond to you. You can unfollow. I'm sorry that my page like bothered you that much to where you had to come in my emails and make me feel like this. like I
Man,
so social media is just a whole nother
it's a
story.
whole nother world. Like
It's a whole
the
nother
fact,
world. You are absolutely right.
girl, because I remember like, oh my gosh, like it's just like people just. Here's the crazy thing about social media. So say you in a relationship. Oh
hmm
my gosh, people will start unfollowing you if they see you in a relationship or they see you like
Unfollow. Like, hold on,
married
she's not
or
available no more.
or if you got a kid, people will
I
unfollow you.
like, dang, I can't live. Like, you didn't think I had a boyfriend outside of this world? Like, what is wrong with people? It's really crazy. Like, people, I've noticed the way social media has like kind of turned. A lot of people have gotten really, really, really judgmental, like judgy, And so it's like, oh nope, oh nope, like you. It's like, dang, this world is kind of turning. Not the world. The social media is really technology. We're just turning into like a technological very, kind of crazy world. So
My my question is, what's it like to see? Honestly, if you were in college, you would have made so much bank off of the NIL. But what's it like?
girl, do you know
What's
how upset that is? Like makes me and all my fellow athletes that I've talked to, like all these collegiate like these players are getting checks. Are you kidding me? Girl,
what's it like?
I
What would
talked to I'm so sorry.
you good? What would you say? Like, what's it like though to see folks, the college athletes, finally getting paid for their name, image, and likeness?
I love it. I think they're very deserving, and so like I said, me speaking on my personal experience, it would have been nice. I wasn't like I granted that I didn't have any of this following and all this and that, but it would have been cool, to know that like as a athlete at this college, this D1, like I can get sponsored, like I can get represented, I could get paid to be doing this, And so I think I love it. I love that the athletes are getting paid and being able to sell that jersey that they're rocking.
Yes, cause girl, I'm telling you, you would have. I remember you. I know you would have gotten banked so much. You, another girl that was a guest of mine, she would have gotten banked. A lot of the people
I
in my
was talking to Dylan Gonzalez and
yes,
Minnesota. Yes,
yes,
them. Like, girl, we
Gonzalez
had a
twins.
whole discussion about it. Like, it's crazy. And they were big
They
back
were the
then.
blueprints.
They're still exactly like they were legitimately the blueprint of social media influencers and collegiate like basketball players. And so
And
they were pretty upset.
the crazy thing was, and the crazy thing was is I had Dylan on on here previously,
Mm.
and like I said, like I grew up
Yes,
like
I did see Dale. Yes, I did see Dale's.
and growing up like they were the blueprint. They were the Cavender twins before the Cavender twins. Like they were the Gonzalez twins, and you had the Cavender twins that became the social media TikTok.
Right. Yes,
Like
exactly. It's crazy, right?
and I'm thinking to myself like the Cavender like shout out to the Cavender twins. No shade to y'all. Shout
Oh,
out,
of course not. Like
get
they
y'all's
got
money.
the vibe, what they got going on. Support. I
Get
love it.
y'all's
Keep doing it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It gives awareness to other women, and young women who are going to aspire to be creators, basketball players, whatever the case may be, models, whatever. I will say I love social media in that regard because it pushes kind of like chase what you love.
yes.
Don't be afraid to chase and go after what you love. And so I do love that. No shame towards those twins
My
whatsoever.
I just think I feel like in a way though, here's my thing that this is what kind of like irritates me about, I said irritates me about the NCAA.
Let me hear it, because this game been annoying.
So the NCAA,
It's been annoying.
when it comes to say punishment and like critiquing women's and men's basketball.
Hmm.
So like there was a whole issue one year about like how um this was a long time ago. The Cavalier twins, they were just transferring from Fresno State to Miami, University of Miami, and that was a huge deal because
Oh, I think I do remember
and
this.
then they got in trouble. University of Miami got in trouble because they had a little booster meeting team thing, whatever it's called, booster dinner, whatever. But it's like they get punished for that because they're women and because it's women's basketball. But yet there was a kid in Alabama, University of Alabama. There was a whole issue of University of Alabama for men's basketball that was involved with a murder of a black woman. And yeah, a lot of people don't know this. So there
What?
was so this was last year. So there was a incident where a young woman was murdered outside, and it dealt with some of the players from the University of Alabama's men's basketball was out and about, and it was a shooting, and
Wow.
there was a shooting that happened, and one of the guys from the University of Alabama, one of them got kicked off, and got jail orders and stuff. But then, however, one of the main Alabama player star, even though he wasn't at the shooting, he had brought a weapon to the scene of the situation that led to the murder. But it was like, well, you can't really like say what's it called? Kick him off because he was freshman of the year for the SEC, and it's like this is.
Wow.
But the thing was, and this is to
I
me,
This is my first time hearing this.
this was a huge. This is the thing. This was a huge incident because it was a huge incident happened last year. It was all over on ESPN and the news. And the thing was, this is what makes to me NCAA so hypocritical. How is it that money triumphs over the life of a human is beyond me. So I feel like a you punish two women for having dinner with a booster or a fan, whatever. But you don't see that this a young woman who was murdered, who actually happened to be a mother, just y'all find it very. It's to me. This is what makes me like why the NCAA to me don't in the higher quarters they do not care when it comes to the players really or humans. Y'all rather see
Yeah.
money dollars over the life of a human. So
I see what you're saying. I definitely could see that perspective. And um, I personally, I didn't know about that story. And so that was, oh my gosh, like that story is just sickening to say the
it
least. And to know that you guys, the NCAA kind of spun around paying, the athletes and whatnot. It kind of shows you just the working scheme that is, you know, being presented following these athletes who are very talented, and regardless of action, now he's so successful. We don't really want to, ruin his reputation.
that's
So
true.
it's no, that's terrible. Like that is really terrible just to know that, okay, you got your dollar sign. And that that kind of goes into the conversation that we were talking about earlier in terms of just shut up and dribble. It's like he now knows that he could probably get away with. Like that's not okay, while the young women are being penalized, like you said, for just hanging out with someone.
But I'm just saying what like
Also,
I
I don't know the stories of like who they were hanging out with. I don't know any of that.
I don't
But
know
I will
but
say
when
how
you
it
put
seems kind of like
I'm
unfair.
just I'm just saying to all the folks, do not hate on me. Don't come at me. But you want to come at the news? That's what I hear and see in the news that was brought up. But
Right.
just know. I just feel like if
Hands
you
in the
want
air.
to, if you want to see how double standard the NCAA is when it comes to men's and women's
I'll leave it right
basketball,
there. Drop the mic. But hey, you guys could form your own opinion.
I'm
Okay.
just saying. I'm just saying.
I love it, Ashley. That's good. It's that's what I'm talking about. See, that's transparency is key. I love it. It's important to understand the good with the bad because sometimes people get on social media and they just think it's every, social media is beautiful. I love it, but the point is to show like a fixed idea of your life, and so some people aren't so perfect, and it's important to talk about these kind of topics and understand the mind of those who are operating the behind these pages because what I didn't know about those stories. Really,
Girl,
I'm with you. I agree with you. Like I
I'm
really
just, I just wish people would actually see like that.
agree.
Yes, we women's basketball, we are amazing, but also like you
Period.
said, all the hurdles that we got to go through. And like if they saw like I said, not hating on anybody. I'm just explaining like the examples of what y'all see when it comes to punishment and certain slap on the wrist thing. So just letting y'all know what's going
It's
on.
there, and you know what? Actually, the crazy thing is, a lot of people know. And so I think it takes a lot of courage and just wisdom to be able to, you know, step in the form of truth. Seriously, because a lot of people do need to hear this stuff. A lot of people don't understand what women go through in the athletic realm.
And my thing is too. Another thing is because it's if only like when it comes to women's sports, like if we can get people to like see like how dope we are as
Mm,
just humans,
as
how
people.
dope like if they could see like example, Skylar Diggins finally coming back in the WNBA, shout out to her. But
Period.
like the folks don't understand like there are some women players that have came back from being pregnant and still play. Like that's how dope we
Grind
are.
is real. The grind is real. Like the love is real. Like what? Yes, I think it's beautiful, and a lot of men don't. Not men, but just a lot of people don't take into consideration what the woman has to do in sports. That's a lot of women, go through more than just having a baby. Like sometimes they go through very super life changing experiences with dealing with family or dealing with a spouse or dealing with a significant other, and so, but they're still playing. And the same things that men are kind of going through, there are other things that women, like having a baby, a man can't do that, and go and get right on the court and stuff. And so it's very beautiful that women can do that in sports and show the strength and the perseverance and just the love for the game that is carried. Like I'm gonna have this baby and then I'm right to the court, gonna shoot. I need to, I gotta go practice. I gotta go make sure my passes are crispy. Like it's just it shows a lot of grit and it just shows a lot of passion for the game.
For real, like salute to us women. I just shout out to the
Shout
women.
out to us. Happy International Month. Okay,
Shout out to us. Also,
women's history.
be sure to donate to us to your favorite women. Hello,
Oh,
donate
period.
to the
Hello. I will have some t-shirts. It's coming soon. I know. I'm just, life's been life, and so life's a bucket.
So
Make
my question is, and I always ask my guests this question, Miss
yes, ma'am.
MJ. So, MJ,
Yes, ma'am.
what makes Marion MJ Johnson
Hold on,
Bonafide?
actually, okay. I don't mind it. I really don't mind. I love you. You're the best person ever. Maranne.
Martin.
Yeah, Maranne.
Martin.
I don't want
Oh
nobody on here. I don't want
my God!
nobody on here. You're okay. Okay. I love you. I don't want nobody on here listening and then, they see me and like, Marianne. It's like, no, it's not my name. Martin.
My bad. I apologize.
Girl,
I didn't realize I said your name wrong.
girl. Listen, no, it is okay. It's okay. Okay. I love you. You're fine. I just needed to correct that because I don't want nobody, because it's live. And so I need to make sure. No, no, hold on. It's Maranne. It's okay. I do
Thank
not care, girl. You're fine.
you. I
But
guess
ask away, ma'am. Ask away. I would like to answer.
it's out. Maybe it's the accent. I don't know. But what makes MJ Johnson Bonafide unique, and what makes your story stands out from others?
Um, I wouldn't say my story necessarily stands out from others because, I don't want to say that, like, oh, my story is so much more unique or, like, just so different. Like, I overcame so much. Like, at the end of the day, as women, as men, like, we all are doing our very best in life, right? And so we all go through trials and tribulations. We all go through heartbreak. We all go through arguments with our families or our friends, our best friends. We go through best friend breakups. Like, there are so many aspects to becoming who you are as a person and why you've become who you are. And so I don't want to say I'm, just so different and my story is just so unique and da 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 da. Like, I'm not that, but I will say the similarities that I carry with many women in sports is just understanding how much you love the game and how much you want to inspire other young women and even just your family, even your other, like, friends that you no longer talk to, just to show the passion and show the love that you have and you carry, and being able to still connect with so many more people because you're expanding that realm of chasing your passion and your dreams. And so I don't want to say like my story's so different, I came overcame so much.
Mhm.
Every woman faces their own stories, and so I'm not here to say my story is so much different, so much more grand. I've overcome a lot, there are certain things that I've learned through past mistakes, past successes, and just building as I take each step forward and just being grateful for the life that I've been given, regardless of how troubling it could get, because life's a bucket. You never know. And so I'm just really honored and I'm grateful to be able to experience this opportunity. I think life is beautiful as long as you are able to experience it in that light, and not get so down on yourself when you are having like a bad few days or, bumps in the road, like you lose your job or, you know, your business isn't really jumping like you want it to. Just, relax and love yourself and enjoy the ride, because soon you'll look back and be like, wow, I did overcome so much and now I'm here. And that's not to express how much I've overcome, but it's just to be able to allow myself to accept it and look and just see, look at us. Like, Ashley, it's been so long since I've talked to you, and it's just so beautiful that we have such a deep connection, not only through basketball, but just being a woman in the world and just going through so much, and being able to relate in terms of growing and growth and evolution as a human. And so I'm sorry that was long, but yeah, my story, I wouldn't say it's any different. I just, life is just full of ups and downs. You never know what is what does he say? Life's like a box of chocolates. Yeah, life's a bucket, you never know how many buckets you're gonna score. And so it's just it's just trying to turn the life and like the sad moments and like the depleting moments to sunshine and like happiness, and hey, you might score 35 points, motherfucking points today, Ashley, okay? But motherfucking assist, walking bucket, and so I try to have fun in my brand and what I do. And so kick the shoe off, love yourself, and just love who you were and love who you're becoming, and so I think that's my story. And I think I would say that's probably that's what I want to do moving forward. Just being able to love myself, show others who I interact with and those that I'm around and I meet throughout my life, to just show them, love, even outside of basketball, because sitting here talking to you, connecting with you, building that relationship in its entirety just shows so much, you know. And like we got some comments right here, like, you know, we got movement, and so I just think it's really beautiful just to be able to relate and connect to those who share similar goals and aspirations. That's my response. So sorry.
Girl,
Mike
I
is
was
yours.
like, girl, you keep talking, please. Girl, please keep talking. Like, look,
You're so sweet. I love you.
I was loving and enjoying. I'm like, girl, I'm here for the tea. I'm here for it. So, but can you let Miss MJ? Can you let the viewers
Yes, ma'am.
let the viewers know where and how they can find you, and if there's anything coming up next?
Yes, ma'am. So again, like I stated, you guys, all the viewers, all the subscribers, and the not only just the supporters, but the sisters and the brothers that are in this big Bonafide her podcast and family. Like, you could find me on TikTok, MJIC with 2 Y's. My second page on TikTok is MJIC with 3 Y's. My Instagram, same, MJIC with 2 Y's. Um, I will be having some Life's a Bucket t-shirts. Also, you know, I also kind of do have like a podcast, you guys, but it's kind of on the I'm rebranding and trying to, you know, it's emotion. So, Life's a Bucket, get you some points, sub in, follow your girl, subscribe to your girl on YouTube, the Barefoot Hooper, and love yourself, you know, outside of this world, because I think it's just so important to be able to be yourself in a world full of so many. And so, yeah, thank you for letting me shout out my pages.
Of
But no,
course.
you all better subscribe to Ashley. She's the best. And I might be getting ghetto now, but I love you so much. And you have my support always. You are just the best, Ashley, for real.
Girl, I'll tell you every.
You call me, I'm hopping on. Oh, yes. I want to be on the podcast. Yes.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
I love. Oh, also, you guys, she has a poem book too. Shout out to Ashley. She's the best queen ever. Literally. Y'all don't
Thank
even
you.
know who you following right now. She's amazing.
I do. Girl,
I'm sorry, I just gassed you so much right now. I'm so
no,
sorry.
it's all good. I usually hear the thing like a lot of people don't know. I'm usually the hype person. I am usually the hype person to hype people up because I love that. I love supporting my folks. I usually don't like when it comes to like people hyping me. I'm like, let me try and soak it in. Let me just I like let me I'm gonna try and be right back. Especially by folks. Here's the thing: when I get hyped up by folks that I really like look up to, I'm like, let me. I'm gonna be right back,
It's
y'all.
like
Like,
that. No, seriously. Like, it's just so fulfilling, isn't it? Like, it's just to know that the connection that you're pushing out, you're also receiving. It's beautiful. And that's why I want to make sure that you are just receiving so much love, Ashley, because again, I love what you do. I think it is beautiful. So many girls, and I'm speaking for myself too. I look up to you, Ashley. This is beautiful. I do. I think it is so beautiful. You gather women in sports and you talk to them like not just an athlete, you talk to them like they're a person. And that within itself just speaks so much volume. Don't ever like, girl, you better never ever ever forget how important you are and how loved you are. Seriously. You're amazing. You could cut all that out if you want. I don't know if you could
no,
edit
no, no. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna have to cry later on.
that. I need you to know
Speaking of
that.
which,
I need you to know that, seriously. I really need you to know that. I respect, I love, and I support everything that you're doing. I'm your
thank
hype
you.
woman now. You see in my bio on Instagram, the hope filler. Yes, girl, I'm here for it. I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
You're
much.
very welcome, girl. Thank you. Are you kidding me? Thank you. Like the thank you. Seriously.
Y'all have a wonderful day. Y'all be sure to check out the live replay of MJ Johnson's episode 34, available on the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Peace and
Peace.
love.